Oh, and thank you so much for joining me today. If you are here live, say hello in the chat. Let me know where you are watching from today. I'd love to see that we have people joining from all over the world. And if you are joining on replay, say replay in the chat so I can shout you out as well. And as I'm going along today, I love to make these sessions a conversation. So please share what is standing out for you, what your takeaways are. I want to hear them. And I also like to say, please help your neighbors out. If you hear something that I share today that is especially useful to you or notable, type that in the chat. Help your neighbors out. Now, I am your host for today. I am Melody Wilding. If we haven't met yet, I am a professor of human behavior. I'm an executive coach, and I am the author of a book called Trust Yourself, Stop Overthinking and Channel Your Emotions for Success at Work. I'm also the creator of a program called Resilient, which I like to say is my university for people I call sensitive strivers. Resilient is a first of its kind comprehensive program to help sensitive strivers, that is sensitive high achievers, maybe like yourself, to really help give you the tools to regain your confidence, master your emotions, and reach your full potential at work. And it is a big week here because early enrollment for Resilient is now open. We only run this program twice a year. And so this is your last opportunity to join for this year. So if you want one of the limited spots, if you are interested in taking advantage of the discounted early enrollment rate, then there is a QR code on the screen here that you can click and you can learn more information, more details about the program, as well as book your call with me. I want to check that we are live across some of the platforms here. All right, I see we're good on Facebook. Let's see, how about LinkedIn? I think we're good there as well. Yes. Okay. So say hi in the chat. Let me hop on over to the chat, see who's there. Latrice was saying you're my role model. Thank you so much, Latrice. That means a lot. Amber, great to have you here. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from today. Now, unlike many other coaching programs that are out there, Resilient is not just a course that, I slapped together from some recordings I once did. And perhaps more importantly, this is a program that is not designed to force you to become someone that you're not. Resilient has really carefully and thoughtfully and thoroughly been crafted. I worked with a learning designer for over a year. I've spent hundreds of hours on creating this program to really be a premier, actionable, comprehensive toolbox that takes you from feeling crippled by self-doubt, consumed by overthinking, and exhausted from overextending yourself to feeling more self-assured, grounded, and like your most confident self in the workplace. We have actionable lessons, and I'm really all about concrete tools and really useful resources. At the heart of the program are our weekly coaching calls. We have one call on Monday, which are our office hours. You can bring your questions, areas you want coaching on. You can get real-time input from me and my team about the challenges you're facing at work. And every Thursday, we have group coaching calls where we are debriefing that week's lessons and module, and we are discussing action steps, how you're going to move forward. And this program includes lots more. We've stacked it with lots of value. We have access to my private coaching tools library that has dozens of templates, worksheets, scripts, a private podcast so you can listen on the go. But I want to say, time and time again, what our alumni say is the most profound, life-changing part of the program, part of Resilient, is the community. The community of other sensitive strivers they meet during the program, who then become their trusted confidants, their sounding boards, their biggest supporters. Because when you join Resilient, you are not just a number to us. You become part of, an integral part of a strong, empowering community of like minded professionals who are at a similar stage in their career. Most of our members are seasoned professionals. They are established leaders. They are at least 10 to 15 years into their careers, and in general have titles of manager and above. So, manager, senior manager, director, vice president, or we tend to have established individual contributor roles. And all of that means that the people in this program know what you're going through. They can understand the unique challenges and complexities that you face on your own journey. And that's exactly why we are diving into an important topic today. And today I want to talk to you about the power of community and why you need one for achievement, why you need what I like to refer to as a brain trust in your career. So, again, if you are here, say hello in the chat. I see we have Saudi Arabia, Maria from Italy. Great to have you. Dr. Christina, nice to have you here. Let's see. Angel, Teresa, excellent. Okay, so make sure you say hello in the chat. Now, as I said, we're diving into the topic today of why you need a community for achievement. And all of this starts with the very important point that we as humans are social creatures by nature. Connection is one of our most fundamental needs. And that means that community is not just a nice to have, it's a must have for your well being and your success. Yet, many of you have probably experienced firsthand that true community can be so hard to come by nowadays. I mean, we're all more dispersed, distributed than ever before. There's a lot of conflict more than ever before. And all of this is especially true if you identify as a sensitive striver. If you resonate with being someone who is a deep feeler, a deep thinker, then you are only about 20 to 30% of the population. So if that resonates with you, if you identify with that idea of being a sensitive striver, go ahead and type yes in the chat for me. So hi, Diana from Houston, Natalie from California, Christy, great to have you here. Amazing. So go ahead and type yes in the chat if you identify with that idea of being a sensitive striver. Now, because we tend to be only, 20, 30% of the population, it's no wonder why you might have spent your entire career or your entire life feeling out of place, feeling different from other people. And I know exactly what that feels like. I know I certainly have felt that way. Growing up, I felt like an oddball. I felt like a complete weirdo. I couldn't understand why all of my friends were so normal and were so self assured, while I was the one who was so deeply affected by everything. And earlier in my career, as I got into the professional world, that lack of confidence manifested in a constant worry that I was going to be found out. People would realize that I was actually just faking this persona, that I was inadequate, I was underqualified. How many of you can relate to that? Amber was saying, different is definitely the word for it. Yes. How many of you can relate to that feeling of being out of place, of feeling like an oddball, being different than the people around you, but not being able to put your finger on it? Say me in the chat if you have been there as well. And I'm willing to bet a lot of you can relate. And I'm waiting for the chat to come in because there's a bit of a delay between what I'm sharing and you being able to type that in. But I'm willing to bet a lot of you can relate. I hear this all the time from sensitive strivers. And as one yourself, you may find that your coworkers, your friends, or maybe even your family don't fully understand you. They don't fully understand how you approach the world, how you process information. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, that's by no fault of their own. It's not meant to be malicious, but it's because they may have trouble relating to your experience of the world. And because of that, because they don't understand where you're coming from, your unique wiring, your way of processing, they aren't in the best position to help you navigate the challenges you face. Okay, let me see. I'm just looking at the chat here. A lot of you are saying, Amber was saying, yes, I can relate, being emotional and sensitive and feeling left out. Tom, great to have you here. Great to see you. Teresa said, yep, always when I grew up, I felt that way. Yeah. And that's where this is all where your brain trust, your community comes in. And I want to define what I mean by that term brain trust, since some of you may not be familiar with it. So the term brain trust actually came about in the early 1930s when US President FDR, Franklin Roosevelt, he organized a group of advisors because he needed people's expertise and perspective on important issues. The country was just coming out of the Depression, going through a lot of very big situation, and he realized he needed smart people around him to inform what he did next. So since then, many world leaders have relied on creating a brain trust to meet their goals, to organizing people around them to inform their own perspective. So my question for you today is, why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you then also have a brain trust? If the world's best leaders do this, then wouldn't it be great to copy a piece of what they're doing to translate to your own success? So your brain trust, your community is not just a random group of people that you come across. You have to be intentional about cultivating this community around you. And this is especially true in Resilient, where you have a community that you join that is bonded by common values, common objectives, and shared experiences. And with that comes a lot of power. You have a sense of belonging that you may not have had ever before. You feel seen, you feel heard, valued. And what we hear often from our alumni, and I know some of you are here so you could speak to that, is you have a sense of psychological safety, that you can be yourself, you can speak up about challenges, mistakes, struggles you face in a way that you can't anywhere else. And time again, our alumni tell us that this is something you truly can't get anywhere else, and that many people have never experienced in their life before. And for sensitive strivers, it means having a place where your unique qualities are not just tolerated or accepted, but they are appreciated and you are taught how to leverage them. So, in all my years of coaching, of working with sensitive strivers, of running Resilient, I found that community plays a key role in our professional growth and success. So, why is that? Today, I want to give you 5 reasons why you can't afford to go it alone in your career. And whether that means you join Resilient or not, the key message I want you to walk away with today is that community is not a nice to have, it's a necessity for your professional and personal success. So let's go through those 5 reasons why you can't afford to go it alone in your career. As I said at the beginning, some of you may have joined after I mentioned that, but as I'm going along today, please type in the chat what is resonating with you, what stands out for you, and also please help your neighbors out. If you hear something that stands out to you that you feel is important, write it in the chat, help your neighbors follow along. Okay. So, reason number 1, you can't afford to go it alone in your career. Number 1 is a supportive community gets you out of your head. As a sensitive striver, I think you can agree, you experience the world more deeply. You experience it more intensely. You feel your emotions more deeply and pick up on those of others. And that can get very overwhelming. And when you are in a community of your peers, of people you trust and that have your back, your experiences aren't weird. They aren't strange. People don't look at you with side eye and say, "What are you talking about?" They get it. And there's a sense of belonging that comes with that. And there's nothing quite like knowing that you aren't alone in your struggles or in your triumphs, and that you have a community that understands the specific challenges that come along with being someone who is sensitive, but also high achieving. So, I want to share an example of how this might play out. So, let's say you have a team meeting where a tough decision has to be made. Most people might navigate that with ease. But as a sensitive striver, you feel the tension, the pressure, the weight of it on your shoulders more acutely. And in those moments, you may feel like you're making too big of a deal of this. Why can't this just be a decision? But when you're in a community of other people who get it, who have been there before, who have been there and got the t-shirt, right? Then problem solve. And the best part of having your brain trust is that this brain trust is not just a group of people who tell you it's okay you feel this way and who normalize and validate how you're feeling. That's huge, don't get me wrong. But it's also hugely important that you have people around you that push you, encourage you to take action, that help you get out of your head and out of your own way. Because being with other people allows us to step out of our own internal dialogue and gain fresh perspectives, gain a more objective viewpoint. All right, so that's reason number one. You can't afford to go it alone, because a supportive community gets you out of your own head. Let me begin with the chat here. Okay, hello, Terrence from New Jersey, from Brazil. Great to have you here. Let's see. Tom was saying it's very important to build trust and that mutual feeling. 100%. That's psychological safety, Tom. You know this, that is the foundation of everything. I'm going to talk more about that in a second, actually. Okay. So let's move on to reason 2 that you can't afford to go alone. And that's the fact that community encourages your personal and professional growth. A diverse community provides a range of different perspectives, and that challenges you to think differently. It challenges you to step out of your comfort zone and to grow as a result. So, for example, in Resilient, we've had recently some managers that have faced tough decisions or have faced tough situations where they had to address underperformance on their team, or had to address a team member who was, and others in the group who were in different industries had been there before. And because of that, they were able to offer different perspectives, tangible ideas about what had worked for them. They were able to push others in the group to consider options they may not have even thought of before, because they were had blinders on for their own perspective. So having a brain trust can bring together a wealth of different experiences, skills, knowledge, and you can leverage that diverse wisdom to make more informed, better choices about your own work and your career. And plus, learning is never finished. You know that as a sensitive striver, you are always pushing yourself to be better and better and better. And in a community, there's an element of positive competition. And I think we don't talk about this enough, that when you're surrounded in a group of your peers, there is positive competition. When you see them doing well, conquering challenges, that spurs you on to want to keep up, to do the same thing. And that exposure and inspiration really expands your horizon of what's possible for you and what you're able to achieve. All right, we have reason number 1, you can't afford to go alone. A supportive community gets you out of your own head. Reason number 2, a community encourages your professional and personal growth. Reason number 3, you can't afford to go it alone or go without community, is bolstering your confidence. Everyone faces challenges. We all do. We face setbacks, failures, we make mistakes. And for us sensitive strivers, that can feel devastating. Those negative situations can stick with us for days, sometimes even weeks. Imposter syndrome tends to creep in when you're by yourself. You don't feel good enough. With a supportive community, again, you know that you're not alone. And you can draw on the strength and the belief of others, all of which which boosts your own self-worth at a time you need it the most. So, for instance, when we have had people in Resilient that have hit a setback, let's say a project fails or they lose an important client, everyone rallies around them to provide comfort and support. They share stories of their own similar setbacks and, again, more importantly, how they bounced back. And all of that helps lift up your own confidence, because when you're surrounded by people who understand and believe in you, it's much easier to believe in yourself, right? You borrow their belief. You have guidance and empowerment so that you can recognize your strengths. You can push past self-doubt more easily, and you can take those brave steps towards your goals because you know other people have your back and they believe in you. And you have more accountability and motivation to keep pushing forward because you're sharing what you're going to do with others. And that accountability, sharing what you're going to do with others and having to follow up, having to see everyone next week and said, I did this thing or I didn't do this thing, all of that really helps keep you on track. Reason number 4, you can't afford to go without community, is skill building. So for example, Resilient, for example, has been very intentionally designed to help you build the skills you need to be successful within the context of the program. So we've built in the context of the program skills that you need to learn that will serve you outside of the program. So Resilient really serves as a microcosm to work on some of the key skills that our members want to master. So let me give you an example to really bring this home. So let's take speaking up and offering your viewpoint. Many sensitive strivers find it hard to use their voice. They hesitate to speak up and offer their ideas and perspectives, particularly in front of other people, in large groups or in high stakes situations. But when you are in a smaller, again, psychologically safe community of your peers, you have an opportunity to practice this very skill. You can share your viewpoints, your unique insights. You can receive immediate feedback and input in a supportive setting. And I can't underscore that enough, in a supportive setting. So again, going back to one of our previous reasons, this not only boosts your confidence, but it gives you practice. It prepares you to do the same thing in more challenging environments, whether that's, the boardroom, a high stakes meeting you have coming up. And then there's also things like asking for help. We sensitive strivers tend to be self-reliant to a fault, to our own detriment. We feel the need to solve every single problem on our own, but that is usually not healthy or effective. Again, when you are in a community, you can practice reaching out, asking for help or advice without anyone responding negatively to you. And that act of asking for help can feel really vulnerable. You may at first think, I'm weak, I really shouldn't need help with this. But over time, as you see the positive impact it has on your decision making, your overall well being, it will feel less daunting to ask for help in other scenarios at work. And celebrating and internalizing our wins is another area where we, as sensitive high achievers, can struggle. We're often so focused on what we need to improve or what's next in our careers that we don't take enough time to recognize and internalize what we have accomplished. We're just right on to the next thing. Let me know if that's you in the chat. If you have that tendency to, as soon as you accomplish one thing, you don't even allow yourself to bask in it. You're just right on to the next thing. So let me know if that resonates with you in the chat. Yes. Now, again, we don't really take enough time to recognize and internalize what has gone well. But in a community setting, your wins become a shared celebration. The community and the structure of it reminds you, really forces you to slow down and pause, to acknowledge your successes, to take in that accomplishment, to reinforce why did that work? How did your skills contribute to that? And all of that helps you create a more positive sense of self worth. Yeah. And Angel was saying, no celebrations at all. Next. Christy was saying, yes, definitely relate to that. So let's say, for example, you landed a high profile client or you led a successful project. Well, typically you would just, be right on to the next thing, or actually be pointing out, yeah, but here's what I forgot to do, or here's what didn't go so well. It's different when you're in a community where people are there to celebrate that milestone with you. They can help you see and reflect back to you the value you brought to the situation. And it's very freeing to be with people who actually want to celebrate with you. Unfortunately, I think many of us are surrounded by colleagues or in situations where the other people around us are not happy when we succeed. And to have that is really game changing. To be surrounded by people who will not feel threatened or make you feel small when you do succeed is huge. All right. Our last reason why you can't afford to go it alone in your career is building relationships. You never know where a connection might lead. And I actually want you to type in the chat. How have you focused on, when you focused on building relationships, how did it lead to something you weren't expecting? So you never know where a connection is going to lead. Maybe it's a job opportunity, a collaboration together, a lifelong friendship. Now, we have had some people in Resilient. We have folks from all over the world in the program. Asia, Australia, Europe, the US, South America, Canada, literally all over the world. And we have had folks from one country go visit friends they made in the program through other countries who stay in touch long after the program is over. And that's the power of community, that you can make friendships for life. When you're with people who get it, who get you, you don't have to diminish or downplay your success. And for me, this has been the most powerful part of being in a community and being in other coaching programs, that it has led to collaborations, doing lives together. It's led to lifelong friendships. I've gone on retreats with my friends that I call them my internet friends that I've met online rather. And those people have become my closest confidants. When I'm going through a tough time, they're there for me. They're there to be a sounding board to help me through that. Okay, so there you have it. Those are our 5 reasons you can't afford to go it alone. You can't afford to go without a community and why you need one for achievement. I'm going to read them off again. I want you to tell me which one resonated with you the most. Reason number 1, a community gets you out of your own head. Number 2, a community encourages your personal and professional growth. Number 3, a community bolsters your confidence. Number 4, a community helps you build skills. And number 5, a community can lead to lifelong friendships. So let me know which of those 5 resonates with you the most. Go ahead and type it in the chat. Yes, and thank you. We had someone who typed out all of the reasons in the chat. So helpful. Thank you so much. Sergey was saying by building community, he was getting lots of unexpected opportunity and ties by connecting with other coaches in the Colorado area. Fantastic. Yeah. And Tom was saying, thanks again, Melody. I have to drop for a meeting. Sensitive strivers and folks with imposter syndrome, hang in there. You're not alone, and we are all there to support you. Thank you. Thank you, Tom, for saying that. Angel was saying what resonated with her the most is getting out of your own head 100%. Natalie, same thing, said love them all, but number one is best. One final reminder as we go through this conversation about the power of community, I want to leave you with one final thought here. The importance of being intentional about building your community. I mentioned that earlier. Community doesn't just happen by accident. You have to cause it. You have to actively pursue it and craft it around you. This could be through LinkedIn. I mean, right here, you have hundreds of other sensitive strivers that you can connect through. It can be through LinkedIn or Facebook or another social media platform. It might be through a religious affiliation, your church, your synagogue, a community group, a employee resource group. I've had folks who have met through women's groups at their companies or a book club, for example. Or it could be through a coaching program like Resilient. Like I said, whatever you do, what I care most about is that you are intentional and you are proactive about seeking out the best people that can support you. If you are hearing everything I shared today and you are curious and you do want to learn more about Resilient, then I do want to invite you to check out the details and to book a free call with me to discuss if it's right for you. I have a QR code here on the screen that you can take out your phone. You can take take out your phone, open your camera app, and it will bring you directly to a link. If you're not able to do that, you can just type in melodywilding.com/resilient. And Resilient, again, it is really made to arm you with practical strategies, a supportive community, and expert guidance through coaching from me and my team. And all of this is geared towards helping you become more strategic, become faster in your decision making, so you can feel confident in your choices, to break free from people-pleasing patterns that keep you overworked and out of alignment with your vision of success. So you can use your voice at work to become more visible, influential, show up as the leader you are meant to be, to give yourself permission to say what you need and assert yourself while feeling grounded in that, and to navigate tricky workplace dynamics, whether that's disagreements, difficult colleagues, your boss, and so much more. So for 4 years now, I have been running this program. I have absolutely seen it transform the lives of our alumni, from helping them get skip level promotions, getting 6-figure bonuses. We've even had people run for and win public office. That was pretty cool. But what's even more incredible than these external results is their inner transformations. And our alumni say over and over how the people in their lives start to notice how much happier, lighter, more optimistic they are, and that they start to notice that too. And you deserve that as well. I really want you to believe that. And again, whether it's in Resilient or not, that's up to you, but we would love to support you with that. So one more time, early enrollment is open for a limited time. So if you are at all interested, curious in learning more, you can absolutely message me here. You can use the QR code on the screen here to head to, or you can head to melodywilding.com/resilient. And again, you can DM me with questions. I'll be back again on Friday with another live for you. We are talking about overcoming perfectionism. So if you are someone who struggles with that paralyzing grip of perfectionism, you're going to want to join us then. All right, everyone, that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care, everybody.